Nearly everyone works on teams of some sort. The health of a team is vital to success. Burnout, unmet goals, low engagement, conflict, absenteeism, turnover are all symptoms of a team in trouble. Our guest, Pamela Villars, will review the steps to improve your team's health. Pamela is a consultant to Fortune 500's large nonprofits with an extensive background in organizational development, executive coaching, senior leader training, and is often called in when a team is struggling.
So the model that I like the best is from Team Coaching International. There are really sort of two primary aspects that leaders need to tend to on a team, and one they call productivity and the other they call positivity. And I don't think it matters what you call them, but basically 50% of the function of the team is to achieve its goals. It's there for a reason, right? It's supposed to do certain things. And so that's the productivity element. How do we actually accomplish our goals? The other half that they call positivity, and you could also call engagement, is how does the team function, though, relationally? The positivity is the atmosphere of the team, the air you breathe. So let's say everyone goes into the same office every day, you have the same tasks, you have the same office furniture, but in one office the air is clear and pristine and the temperature is just right, and in the other office the AC is broken or the heating is broken and the air is polluted. The atmosphere has a huge impact on the team's ability to accomplish its goals. But so I think that the job of creating a healthy team is to align the team on the productivity, the structural, are we doing what we're supposed to do and how well are we doing that? And also, what is the atmosphere of the team, because that has such an impact on our ability to accomplish our tasks and our goals.
Leadership styles.
As I was thinking about this, what I found myself thinking is about the relationship of this to leadership styles and management styles. We know that, some people tend to be more relationally oriented as managers. They like to keep people happy. And me too. I own it. And other people are more, it's all about the business. Let's cut to the chase. Let's just get it done. And so if you think about that, managers have a certain way of being as human beings, that is probably how they're going to come in and direct their team. And so that, in fact, can become also a weakness, because a manager that tends to be a people manager like you and like me will perhaps not spend as much time and attention on the how are we reaching outcomes part.
Right.
And the style of a leader that's it's all about data, let's cut to the chase, you're just here to work, I don't care how you feel, is going to neglect the other part. So I think there's a relationship between a leadership style and how leaders tend to develop their teams.
Right. I will say my most productive and I will say happiest times in leadership were when there was a balance. And that's really what I see with this model. Involve the team.
I believe that having the team involved in analyzing and understanding its own processes and beliefs and assumptions, its own problems, is critical. When I've seen a leader come in and say, okay, this is how we're going to solve the problem, I don't see that's generally successful. What I've seen as successful is when a leader takes their team through a process where the team gains its own insight into how it functions and works, and then comes up with its own solutions. I have seen that as the way to really begin to move and change the situation.
What does that look like when you're bringing in the team together and just kind of getting that started?
Well, first, let me say this, that the success, I think, of any of these kinds of getting-togethers is creating safety in the room. I do think the role of the consultant is to really create safety. What I like to do is to do sort of a historical timeline with the team. The first thing I like to do is to have everyone share a couple of things about themselves and their background and where they came from that other people on the team may not know about them. Oftentimes when a team develops or forms, people don't get to share their other expertise, right? And I like them on a sort of a timeline to show when they joined the team. and what their previous experience was. So it's like helping the team see its own evolution, if that makes sense.
Totally makes sense. Absolutely.
So I remember I had one team that was in a lot of difficulty. And so we had to do a timeline, not only of who they were, but of all the changes that had happened in their team over the last couple years. I said, what are the major events that happened? And as we looked at it, they realized that they were constantly in upheaval. And when they saw that, they also recognized that while they were constantly in upheaval, they had consistently met their goals. And they sort of stopped and took a breath and said, wow, wait, we're kind of impressive, right?
And it's so interesting you say that. I think a lot of folks are just hard on themselves in general.
Well, and I think the other thing, as you look at those timelines, you can also help people start to see that their responses are completely normal. Of course you're upset at each other. Of course you're upset at the organization. Of course you feel pressured. So you're taking something that has felt difficult or like they should be doing better and helping them to understand that their responses and reactions make perfect sense. And so now it makes perfect sense. Of course you feel that way. Now what can we do to move on? But I think a team to move on and to make change has to feel understood and heard. We are human beings first and business people second.
What outcomes are you looking for?
So I think the next step is to ask the team what needs to be different. Whatever the challenges are, whatever the stresses are, when it's better, what will be different? So there's a way of asking, okay, what's the problem? But the flip side is to say, what's the outcome you're looking for?
Yes.
So if we know where we're trying to get to, what are the things that we're doing that are supporting that outcome? And then what are the things that we're doing that are barriers to that outcome? And even as I say this, I just want to emphasize that in my experience, unless the team gains insight into itself, tactical tasks may not get you where you want to go, because then you're just putting a Band-Aid on, a wound that's still infected.
Obviously, we've kind of talked about discovery. Mm-hmm. Any other tips or suggestions for solutions when you're thinking about team health?
What I will say is that ideally the team creates the solutions and you want to work with them to do that. But I'm also a really big believer in two things. One is to make sure the solutions are not just in the team pod, but that they are systemic solutions. So sometimes problems are not just about the team, they're about things outside of the team and how processes and other things work. So the solutions have to bring all those other elements into play. So to really think about the systems. That may mean bringing in other people into the solution part and having them not only engaged, but agreeing to those solutions, right? The second piece is accountability. Not one of my favorite words, but it's important here. Meaning, if we make these agreements with each other, what are the consequences to us and each other if we don't follow these agreements? What happens next? And it may sound obvious, but I can't tell you how many meetings or places I've been in where people say, okay, we'll do that. And then there's no talk about, but what happens if we don't? What are the next steps? Are we ever going to talk about it again?
Create balance.
When you're looking at your team health, number one, look at your leadership style and make sure that your style is balanced. And then the second thing is pay attention to both aspects of the team, right? The productivity and how you're reaching your goals and the atmosphere that you're creating. And don't neglect either one.
So well put. Yeah, I mean, that's really what you should be doing as a leader on a routine basis. Well, thank you, Pamela. Please reach out to Pamela Villars Consulting. I'll leave a link in the description below. For any of your organization's consulting needs, including coaching, building effective teams, and leadership training, I 100% vouch for her awesomeness and effectiveness. She has been an inspiration to myself and countless peers for her ability to guide leaders and teams to success. Please subscribe for more leadership videos. Thanks for watching.